Today we're talking about how to set up a zero clearance insert for your table saw, specifically how to make this kerf at the back of the insert to accept either a riving knife or a splitter. Stick around. So I don't know what your table saw looks like, but mine has got a large collection of these inserts. They're sometimes called throat plates or zero clearance inserts, but to be honest with you, most of them are not actually zero clearance. The one that probably came with your saw has a much wider opening than the kerf of your blade. And sometimes it's helpful to have one that's truly zero clearance. So the opening is only as wide as the carbide on your blade, and that way you get nice crisp cuts even on the bottom side. You can avoid splintering and things like that. You know, it's not always obvious how to make these kerf cuts in your inserts to get them set up for your table saw. This one's a pre-made phenolic insert that we use on a Sawstop PCS. The basic cut in the center of the insert is a little bit easier to make, although there are some safety considerations, so we'll demonstrate that cut really quickly. But the one I want to focus on is this cut at the back of the insert, and that's the one that will accept either the splitter or just the regular riving knife that came with your saw. To make an actual zero clearance insert, select the blade that you want to use and drop it all the way down to the lowest position on your saw. Here's where you want to clamp a board across the insert, and do this even if your throat plate is a locking variety. Now the blade we're using today is Infinity's laser thin kerf blade, but the same process works with any style blade. Go ahead and raise the blade up through the insert, and what I like to do is raise it up to the maximum height and then run it up and down a couple times to make sure if the carbide's going to catch against the phenolic, it'll do so with the blue painter's tape in place. Once you've run the blade up and down a couple times and you have a nice kerf established, we'll be able to peel back the blue tape and see how we did. Looks like we got a nice cut in this phenolic without any chip out. And then remove any hardware that came with your insert, like the bucket handle lock that comes with the Sawstop inserts, and adjust your rip fence until the insert slides right back over the kerf that you made with no resistance. That's the right fence position for making this kerf at the rear of the insert. And then go ahead and lower the blade so it's just taller than the insert, and we'll use a feather board to control the cut. Last thing to check is that there's no set screws or hardware at the back of the insert that might be in the path of the blade. Once you're all clear, we'll go ahead and fire up the saw and make that cut. Stop the cut well short of the main kerf and let the table saw spin down before you remove the insert. Looks like another clean cut with that blue painter's tape. Now, if you're making this insert for a riving knife, you're done at this point. But if you're installing a splitter, you may need to drill 1 or 2 holes to complete the installation. The laser thin kerf splitter that I'm installing today requires 2 holes, and luckily the holes are slotted to allow some adjustment so you can easily center the splitter within the kerf of the insert. Once the alignment looks good, go ahead and drop the insert down in your table saw and give it a try. I always like to use a splitter or a riving knife whenever possible on the table saw. In addition to the major benefit of decreasing the chance of kickback, a splitter will also improve cut quality. You'll notice decreased swirl marks and less chance of burning whenever you get a chance to use one. Well, hey, if you found a couple Thoughtful Woodworker videos that are helpful to you, do consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.